Osage Nation citizen Randy Tinker Smith produced and directed the ballet Waza Zaza, however we pronounce it, which vividly chronicles Osage history and culture. Telling Osage stories through ballet is choice because two of the foremost ballet dancers of the 20th century were Osage. So is an easy choice, a good choice, an appropriate choice because two of the dancers. So the key tip off is because two of the dancers were, two of the Osage were famous ballet dancers. Suitable choice, that looks correct. Determined, no, has not anything to do with being a determined choice, which means you're motivated to do it with certainty. Arbitrary, it's not random, and it's not unpredictable. It's a suitable choice. Although the playwrights hoped that their play would be, when performed live, critics generally agreed that the production and performances had the opposite effect, wearying audience instead of energizing them. Okay, so they hoped they would energize the audiences, and in fact what they did was tire them out. They wear them. What would my prediction be here? Although the playwrights hoped their play would be exciting or energizing to the audience, something to that effect. Multifaceted, realistic, rousing. That would be the same thing as energizing. That's what they hoped it would be. Multifaceted just means it has multiple parts. That's not the idea. Realistic, it's not a question of realism or not. Those aren't the word clues. And subtle, no, that's not quite right either. So they hoped it would wake the audiences up and rouse them. Instead, it tired them out. The printing of Virginia Woolf's novels featured a creative between Woolf and her sister Vanessa Bell, a talented painter. Bell worked closely with Woolf to create original cover art for most of the novels. Featured a creative combination or pairing or joint working together, something to that effect. Not a rebellion, a partnership, of course. A creative partnership between Woolf and her sister. They didn't discover anything, and they weren't in disagreement over anything. The spacecraft OSIRIS-REx briefly made contact with the asteroid such and such in 2020. NASA scientist Daniela such and such reports that despite facing the unexpected obstacle of a surface mostly covered in boulders, OSIRIS-REx successfully took a sample from the surface, gathering pieces of it breaking to bring back to Earth. So she gathered, attached a sample, collected. That would be the better word in context. Collected a sample of the surface. Could be attached, but that's not quite right in context. Followed? No, the spacecraft wasn't following the samples around. Replacing? Well, it didn't have one in the first place, so it couldn't replace it. The parasitic daughter plant increases its reproductive success by flowering at the same time as the host plant is latched onto. In 2020, Zhongking Wu and his colleagues determined that the tiny daughter achieves this with its host by absorbing and utilizing a protein the host produces when it is about to flower. So achieves this sameness, this same time, this, I'm not sure exactly what synonym I would put in there, this timing, this with its host. It's not quite timing, synchronization. That's the word I'm thinking of. Synchronization with its host, that they're in line on the timing. Not a hibernation. They're not going to sleep. It's not a prediction, and it's not a moderation. In other words, it's not getting less and less. They have this similar timing. That is the right idea, which is best denoted by synchronization.